Okay, I think we're live. Well, guys, today we have a slightly different episode for you. Today we're doing slightly something different. We're not talking politics, we're not talking culture, we're talking something entirely different. But don't worry. If you're thinking, well, Sham, you're gonna move away from these depressing topics. No, we're not. We're still talking about some depressing topics. And we're talking Arsenal, we're talking football. And I thought,
Yes.
it's such a depressing issue that I didn't want to talk about it by myself. So I thought, all right, who understands this depression better than another Arsenal fan? So I tried to get a hold of him, and here to talk about this depressing, sad, painful issue is another fellow Arsenal fan, Veedu Vidz. So Veedu, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sham. It's really, really honored to be here and to share in the depression and just this sort of general sense of like lackluster atmosphere being an Arsenal fan. We're discussing something which is far more important than religion, politics, culture, and that is football. That is the reason why we are here. So thank you so much for having me here.
Absolutely. And we were just talking about this before, that you and I often on our channels, we talk about stuff that's heavy, that's kind of like sometimes it's a little depressing. Sometimes we like to have fun with it, like you especially like to have fun with it. But a lot of the times these are heavy things. So we're like, all right, now that we're done with this YouTube stuff, talking about all this heavy stuff, let's go watch some sports. Let's go watch some football, something that we enjoy, something that we love, something that we really get some enjoyment out of. But then the problem with us is that we're Arsenal fans. So we have to go and watch Arsenal, and they're dreadful. Yeah. It's a dreadful team right now. And so basically, if you're an Arsenal fan, there is no escape.
There is no. I would rather watch an ISIS beheading than an Arsenal match.
For real, man.
No, I'm just joking. No, but seriously, I can't remember the last time I watched a full Arsenal match. I've just sometimes it's on TV, and I'm like, ooh, should I just sit down, get some chips or whatever it is, or whatever, and and then I realize, oh shit, I watch Arsenal. It's like a horror movie or something, or it's not a good ending. Someone's gonna die. Someone's gonna get fired, hopefully. But really and truly, it sucks right now to be an Arsenal fan. And I would say for the last at least 10 years, it's been a slowly downward hill, a downward slope, and it's just getting worse and worse. And I don't see right now any hope of any signs of anything getting better right now, if I'm honest with you.
Talking about any hope, well, at least we can make. I think it's fair to say that it was about a month too late. But at least the board took a decision and sacked Unai Emery. And Unai Emery is gone. Long live the head coach. And now we have Freddie, who's been installed as the interim head coach. How do you feel about... Well, I think every Arsenal fan agrees that he had to go. But do you also feel that he's been let go too late?
I would say that this has been a kind of a common thing in Arsenal, that we kind of just linger on a bit too long with whether it's getting rid of Arsene Wenger or renewing contracts for players or finding that there seems to be a lack of forward thinking. They're very reactive and dithering, and should we get rid of him? No, we'll give him another month. We'll give him another. They should have got rid of him at the international break. Got a new manager in, whether it's Freddie or not. And then you start again, But it's a constant theme within Arsenal. Everything is like too late. It's after the fact. It's already got worse. Then you're sort of picking up the pieces, and then you got to make something of it. So
I mean, I do have some. Let's talk about Unai Emery real quick and about what Unai Emery was sort of doing with the team. So when he came, I remember when he came, his first press conference was pretty nice, because he said all the things that you'd want to hear as an Arsenal fan. He said, I want to come in, I want to play pressing football. I want to play football that's attractive. I want to play the Arsenal way. We want to be, this was repeated in pretty much every other article that talks about Unai Emery since his appointment, is that he said he wanted Arsenal to be the protagonists of the match.
Yeah.
And for the first 2 or 3 months, you kind of saw what he was trying to do. But what was weird was that once the results started to maybe turn a little bit against him, he completely let go of that idea. He said, all right, I'm just going to throw it out the window and I'm just going to play like Valencia football, and I'm going to play like Getafe football, where, where I'm going to play like a team that's 10th or 11th in the table.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of football that he started playing. Like, completely fall back, let the other team take as many shots as you can, and maybe we can hit them on the break. Like, that's how Stoke plays. That's how Burnley plays. And guess where we are right now? We're 1 point above Burnley.
Yeah.
So we play like Burnley, we end up like Burnley.
No, I think you're 100% right. I mean, if you drill the players for 12 months saying you have to play this way, you have to play this way, and and then when things don't go your way, you just say, you know what, forget the whole thing. We're just gonna, we're gonna have 5 at the back or 10 at the back, or whatever it is, and then you've confused the players and you've wasted 12 months of football because you're training them to play one way. And like, fans can be quite generous if you stick to your philosophy in the beginning, and you're not going to get the results. Like when we lost against Man City and Chelsea, we saw the signs of attacking football. We saw some signs of this. Okay, we understand what you're trying to do. Yes, they lost, but we're forgiving. Okay, fine, we get what you're trying to do. But when you start changing everything, like every other match, especially in the last 6 weeks, it was a different strategy, different formation. There is no fixed 11. We don't know if Ozil's going to play or not. I mean, the Ozil thing is a whole different thing in itself. Yeah. But I think he crumbled under the pressure, to be honest with you, and he himself didn't know what the best team is or how to get the best out of this Arsenal team, which is why I think he eventually was sacked, because if he doesn't know how to get the best out of this team, then he should be the manager.
I mean, it really was like that, wasn't it? Like, because you'd see that within one game, this guy would play like 3 different formations. He'd change formations every 20 minutes. And no matter how good of a footballer you are going to get confused if you're constantly chopping and changing the team, how the team is set up, how the formation's set up. Everything changes every game. Things change like twice or thrice within one game. So you are going to confuse people. And I feel like that's what happened. Players were just confused. I feel like even towards the end, I feel like the Frankfurt game, players didn't even try, but even like the game before that, players were at least trying their best, but they just didn't know what the coach wanted. And I'm not sure Emery knew what he really wanted either, No,
I think you hit the nail on the head. I don't think he knew near the end, how am I going to play this team? Like, who's going to play? What is the identity of this team? You're saying like we're going to be the protagonist. I think we were super reactive, and at times we didn't even know how to react, because we were like, we don't know what do we do now? Like, do we just continue playing the way we're playing, or do we wait for some new instruction? Are we going to change the formation? What is going on? The fans we had no idea what's going on. So I think to be honest with you, Arsenal could have been a step up too much for him. At PSG, they were pretty much guaranteed the league, even though he didn't win it. I think Monaco won it once, but nevertheless, they were going to win the league this season or next season. Yeah. With Arsenal, it's not like that, and they have more pressure. The English league is far more competitive than the French league, so you don't really have anywhere to hide, and you haven't got Neymar and Mbappe and Cavani to score 20, 30 goals each every season. So I think he was a bit out of his depth, to be honest with you.
Yeah, there's a great comment here from Anubhav Roy saying David Luiz is actually a Trojan horse put in by Chelsea. Dude, I totally believe that, because he wasn't like god-awful at Chelsea, right? He wasn't god-awful at Chelsea, but it's almost
still a liability. He was still a liability.
Yeah, I suppose he was still a kind of a liability, but it's almost like they kidnapped David Luiz and gave us Sideshow Bob.
Yeah,
that's who we got. Like, David Luiz isn't the one who's playing these games. It's incredible how hapless he looks.
Yeah,
like he's an experienced defender. That guy's not a joke.
No, thing is, even if like David Luiz is a good footballer, but you need someone to manage him properly. You need a whole, like, he was playing pretty well. I think it was under Sarri, or was it under Conte? I think it was maybe. He was playing pretty well, actually. They won the league. He was like, we didn't hear any stupid mishaps from David Luiz then. So clearly, the guy can play football. He's been in the Brazilian team for God knows how many years.
Yeah.
So he can play, but you need a manager who can manage. You need someone who can get the best out of him. And obviously, Emery's not that guy who can get the best out of him, or even the other players. I mean, last year, Torreira was like an amazing, oh my God, we found the guy who is that defensive mid and this and that. And this season, he's been, I want to leave. I'm not sure. So, he's not getting the best out of these players. He can't keep them interested or even united on how to play the Arsenal way.
Yeah, the Torreira point is so interesting because he kind of tried to do with Torreira what Sarri tried to do with Conte.
Yeah,
where he played him as like a number 10, where he's a defensive midfielder, which I kind of understand. All right, Torreira is a guy that actually has some offensive capability. He has scored a couple of goals for Arsenal. He has that eye for goal and eye for an attacking instinct. I get it. But at the end of the day, still, he is the only, really good defensive midfielder that we have. Like, Xhaka is a defensive midfielder in name, but he doesn't have the kind of athleticism that can really work in the Premier League. He's a good player. Like, he's obviously a good player. He's been a captain everywhere he's been. He's played a shitload of games for Switzerland. But I just feel like he doesn't have the mobility and the athleticism that you need in the Premier League. Like, for a team like AC Milan, I feel like Xhaka would be great.
Yeah. I agree. He's playing catch up, and then he ends up putting himself in a very vulnerable situation, and either the guy gets past him and scores a goal or creates something, or he has to foul. And he always puts himself in a compromising position because, like you said, he hasn't got the physicality to match the speed of the Premier League. And the speed of the Premier League has increased dramatically over the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, if you go back to Liverpool, Suarez and Sturridge and Sterling, and then you look at Man City now, and you look at Liverpool team now, and even the Chelsea team with the youngsters, you got all these guys bombing down. So the speed is incredible, and if you don't have that ability, you're going to get caught out constantly, and we are getting caught out constantly at Arsenal. Even like a team like Crystal Palace, I've got a ton of pace with Zaha and Bolasie and whatnot. So it's really tough.
It is tough, and it is tough that people. You were talking about the Chelsea team, right? Look at the Chelsea team. I don't think it's a great team. It's a good team, but I don't think it's a great team. But why that team is doing better than Arsenal, which it really shouldn't be doing on paper, is that the reason they're doing better than Arsenal is because they have these hungry players that believe in the manager, that believes in the plan that the manager has for the team. And that can mean it's a really intangible thing, but it means a lot, Like, you have the Liverpool team, which if you look at individual players, they have good players, but you don't think that, oh my God, that's a Champions League winning team. Like, you look at Fabinho, you look at like Henderson, you look at James bloody Milner.
Yeah.
He's a Champions League winner. How?
Yeah, I know.
But he is incredible. Because they have a manager that they 100% are committed to, and they will run through a brick wall for that manager. And that's what they do on a weekly basis for Klopp. And, Arsenal just does not have that kind of a figure in the club, whether it's a manager, which I think the buck stops with the manager, or in the team. Like, can you really think of a leader in the team?
No. There's not a player that the other players believe in, and so when he says we're gonna do this, they do it. And we haven't had Unai Emery is not that. I'm guessing that inspiring of a character to be like, yes, guys, we're gonna go out there, we're gonna fight. Even if we lose, we're gonna fight and go to war. And near the end, Arsene Wenger wasn't like that either. So you need, and this is a constant theme with Arsenal, is they haven't had a player on the pitch who is a natural leader who actually can play football, because you need to be able to stay on the pitch and play. And I mean, Xhaka might be very personable with his players, but if he's not on the pitch, or if he's not consistently getting the first team, that doesn't mean anything, to be honest with you. So they haven't had that. And Klopp and Guardiola, if you watch these guys in the interviews, or I don't know if you watched that Amazon series, where they go, incredible. You just want to, like, I feel like I just want to just be in the room when he's speaking, because he's talking, that you say, oh my God, this guy's intense. and he knows his shit. And same with Mourinho. Say what you want about him. That guy, like, if you listen to interviews where I think it's like you can hate him, but you have to respect him. Like players like I think it was Adebayor. He played for Mourinho in Madrid, and he played for Arsene Wenger. Fabregas and other players who played for both Wenger and Mourinho. They said Wenger was really nice and he let us play and he like whatever. But then when they speak about Mourinho, it's a different level. It's like, you know, I think Adebayor said, like, I didn't know which color my blood was. Like, he could just get something out of you. And like that's what Arsenal lack. They lack someone who can convince these guys you got to run through a wall. Even if you break your arm or leg, you have to do it. We're like, if you do it, it's great. If you don't, we've got, you know, it's all right. I mean, you know, good effort. You know, you tried your best. No, there's no trying. You just have to do it. So I agree.
Yeah, it is a shame. Like, this is a comment by Super Varun who's saying, who are even the leaders in this team? It's not Xhaka or Alba or anybody else. Gone are the days when Arsenal had strong leaders that would lift the team spirits and morale, like Vieira and Keown. And that's absolutely right. Like, you had Vieira and Keown who you couldn't help but be impressed by those people, and you couldn't help but want to listen to what they had to say. You know, when you had Vieira tell you that this is what we're going to do, you were almost scared not to do it because you thought Vieira was going to hurt you. You know?
This is one of the things that Arsenal fans or football fans, they when we say the Arsenal way, we think of like Bergkamp and Henry and Pires and Ljungberg playing very silky football, touching and this and that. But that was only possible because for every Henry we had a Vieira, for every Pires we had a Campbell, for every Bergkamp we had a Keown. Now we've just got the attacking guys who can play very touchy, kind of feely kind of football, but we haven't got the Vieiras or the Keown.
There's no hard bastards in the team.
Exactly. I mean, when we think back to those Arsenal Man U matches, they were very fierce because we fought fire with fire. Right. We matched them on the pitch when it came to Keown, the Stams, the what you want to call it, the Skulls and all that kind of crap. They had those guys and we had those guys. Actually, now both teams haven't got any of those guys. I think Man U and Arsenal are both in the same boat and they both suck right now. But that's what we're lacking. People think, Arsenal. And this is what I think Wenger, he really messed up. And this is what actually Ferguson said about Wenger when he asked him, like, when did he lose his way? And he was saying that when he kept buying the same kind of player, like a Thomas Rosicky, Alexander Kleb, or Santi Cazorla, small guys who are very touchy-feely with the ball, very, very silky, but they had the option of buying Yaya Toure. They didn't buy him, right? Like, they missed out on so many players that are not, like, you know, skillful with. I mean, Yaya Toure is skillful with the ball, but I mean, they would rather go for that Rosicky kind of guy, you know, as opposed to someone who's very physical and demanding. So many times we've bought the same kind of player in midfield, and that's why we get our asses handed to us when we play teams who have got a bit of bite about them. And they're like, now what do we do? Now what do we do?
Yeah, and I think what the problem with Wenger towards the end of his reign was the problem with that the league sort of, it wasn't as much, in my opinion at least, that he didn't buy the right kind of players. But in my opinion, you want to buy those tiki-taka players? Okay. You want to play that football? Okay. That's kind of what Guardiola was doing as well. But where I think he messed up in my mind was that the league sort of passed him by. He didn't realize how intense the league had become. He didn't realize that every team from top to bottom had these physical, intense players who could press and who could run like hell for 90 minutes. And Wenger didn't realize that, okay, I need players that can be that intense for 90 minutes. So you get a Cazorla, fine. Cazorla's great. I love Cazorla. But then
I think he was the best player at Arsenal when he was there, actually.
But then again, can Cazorla run, can Cazorla fly into tackles and run for 90 minutes? I don't know. And have you surrounded Cazorla with players that can run for 90 minutes and fly into tackles for 90 minutes? I don't know. And that was the problem, in my opinion, that happened, was that he just didn't realize how intense the Premier League had become. And I feel even today, people who are doing the recruiting at Arsenal don't realize how intense the Premier League has become.
No.
Because you look at the team. Let's talk about the team now. You look at the team, and let's talk about what the recruiting at the club has been over the past few years. Look at the defense. who can you think in our defense that is, apart from Socrates, who is even a little bit, who you can think can get into like a scrap or like can match any player in the Premier League in terms of physicality? Is David Luiz going to do it? No. Is any other centre back? Is Holding going to do it? I don't know.
No.
Chambers, Mustafi, none of those people are really physical, right?
Mustafi's a complete clown. So I mean, if they're looking to the Joker 2 movie, maybe he could be I don't know, what do you even call it? Play a small cameo. But this is what, like, okay, going back to what you said, Man City have like Aguero, Sterling, whatever, all like David Silva, but they have Fernandinho, they have company. You see what I'm saying? They have to get the balance right. You can't just, like, we can say Henderson, right?
But even talking about Sterling and Aguero. Sterling and Aguero are runners, man. They will harry and harass opposition for 90 minutes. That's how they get these turnovers, and then they hit the other team on the transition. That's how they work.
Bro, Mkhitaryan, or was it Mkhitaryan? When he came to Arsenal, he was like, this is the easiest preseason I've ever had.
Yeah.
So this was like, it was like, oh, this is super chill. This is super easy. So Arsenal, like you said, the training, the mentality, along with the recruitment, I think it passed Arsene Wenger by, and he was still, his philosophy took the league up one step, but then other managers like Mourinho and Guardiola and Klopp and even Ferguson had to adapt. They took it up another couple of steps, and we're like, no, we're still playing this way, guys. Those days have gone. And even those days that we played, and we still had very good players that could fight physically or mentally. They were up for a fight. Now, always touchy-feely. Oh, we don't want to. Bro, come on, man. Seriously, we haven't got any fighters in the team. When things go, I mean, the only fighter we actually had, to be honest with you, was Sanchez.
Yeah,
who could see he's getting frustrated that why aren't we playing the way that we should be playing, or why we're losing, why we're capitulating. And people like that guy, they should have given him the contract and sold Ozil, but they kept Ozil and sold the other guy. So I mean, he was the last, I would say, proper, like you could say, international heavyweight fighter, like mentally, obviously not physically, but mentally a fighter. But they got rid of him because, why is he throwing a strop on the pitch? He's throwing a strop on the pitch because he's playing with Messi at Barcelona and winning the Champions League and shit. And now he's competing for top 4. That's why. That's why.
Yeah.
So
I mean that's such a good point though, because I remember so many times in games when the other team would have the ball and you'd see like Sanchez bomb down the middle of the pitch trying to close their central defender down, and the central defender would pass the ball to the right back. And Sanchez was turn around and see there's no Arsenal player around him. And you'd be like, what the hell's going on? Why aren't you guys pushing? I'd see that so many times. And I was like, man, that really sucks. If you're Sanchez, that really sucks.
That sucks.
Because the players can't be arsed. Arsene Wenger apparently can't be arsed to tell the players to, hey, do what Sanchez is doing. Go press. Like,
give the ball to him. Give the ball to the guy that's scoring the most goals. For the team, and that's it. So we actually had, I don't know how we managed to get Sanchez, but either way, we managed to get, literally, when you think about it, I'm like, how did we manage to get that guy into the Arsenal? Like, that was a weird one. And even Aubameyang and Lacazette, I'm surprised these guys are even at Arsenal, and I want to keep them at Arsenal, but they're not going to stay because they're like, you guys aren't going to win Jack.
Well, okay,
here's the Champions League.
Here's my question to you then. So,
all right, go on.
You raised a really good point about, would Lacazette and Aubameyang want to stay at Arsenal, given that Arsenal is a Europa League team currently? And by the looks of this season, it looks like they're going to continue to be a Europa League team, at least next season.
We don't even know if they're going to be Europa League, bro. We don't even know if that's all right. We don't even know.
Let's go full depressing. Let's go full depression then.
Where's the Xanax?
Yeah, I know. Where's the Xanax? So, taking that into account.
Yeah.
Well, right now we have Freddie that's come in, right? We have Freddie that's come in, and honestly, talking about Freddie, from what I've heard from people that know the club, from people that report about the club, they say that Freddie's a real managerial prospect. Like, he is really, really bright. Like, people say Arteta is a really bright prospect. Freddie said, people within the club say Freddie's right there, if not better. They say he has a really good mind for the game. Like Arsene Wenger always said that Freddie's gonna make a really good manager one day. Yeah. So we have Freddie as an interim manager right now, and we're in a position where we're God knows how many points off the top 4.
Yeah,
we're trying to get back in. And what would you do right now? Would you have Freddie continue to be the manager for the rest of the season, or would you try and salvage this season by getting a manager in that could possibly save the season?
To be honest with you, this season, the best we're going to get is Europa League. I don't think we're going to get the Champions League. I don't see any point in appointing a new manager halfway through the season where the best is Europa League. We've got too many points, and even the new manager has to adapt and so on and so forth. So I think it's probably best to have the new manager at the end of after the season. If Freddie's all this, and I don't know, if Freddie is, give him the chance to see what he can do. That's what I would say. There's no point in appointing a manager now. Let him see what he can do. I'm not a fan of making late decisions or of making haphazard decisions. There's no point, right?
Yeah.
It's not like this is the last season we're ever going to play in the Premier League. So let's. Wow. Okay.
Hey man, okay, the season's still young. Come on, man. What are you doing?
Okay. Well, this might haunt me. I hope it doesn't.
Yeah.
There's not the last season. Okay. So
there we go.
Let's. I don't think they'll get relegated. So let's appoint a new manager after the end of the season, and let's give Freddie. Let's see what he can do. I mean, if you're saying all this stuff, let's see what he can do, and let's hire the right manager properly. That's what I would say for next season.
Right, because even looking at the Norwich game, because that was Freddie's first game in charge, and even looking at the Norwich game, you could see what Freddie's ideas are about the team, and you could see that the problems that this team has are so big that no manager can fix these problems immediately. Like the way we got carved open by bloody Norwich, who's 19th in the table, was insane. So one of the biggest problems in the team is this team doesn't have any runners. Nobody, like a team like Norwich can carve you open on the transition with 2 passes. Norwich can go from their penalty box to our penalty box in 2 passes. That means there's something wrong, fundamentally wrong with the midfield and the defense.
Yeah, Arsenal is one of those teams where if a team isn't playing well and they want some confidence, they usually play Arsenal and they win, or they get a good draw. Or if someone isn't scoring a goal for like 2 seasons, and all of a sudden he scores a hat-trick for Arsenal against Arsenal. Arsenal is that team, that amazing step. We are so generous, that sort of stepping stone.
I heard this somewhere. We're the Make-A-Wish Foundation of football teams.
Yeah, exactly. You're not playing well, relegation zone. The opposition manager, he's losing his job. Play Arsenal, you're going to get a new contract.
Are you a newly promoted team? Do you want a wonderful evening in the Premier League? Exactly. Well, come to Arsenal. Exactly. We'll give you a 3-1 win.
Yeah, exactly. Southampton should have won. Yeah. Norwich could have won. There's so many instances where that happens. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Norwich absolutely tore Arsenal apart and should have scored more goals. They absolutely went through us. I was like, where's the play? Like one pass here, a player like, were you gonna get that?
Yeah, dude, it's embarrassing watching Xhaka and like David Luiz run back towards their goal. It's embarrassing. Like they have no recovery speed at all. Like it's crazy.
Well, I don't know who's in charge of training or anything like that. I think all of our methods are so out of date. Genuinely, I don't know what it is. I don't know who's a part of the. I mean, when this is the funny thing. When Arsene Wenger first came, his training was like beyond what anyone in the Premier League was doing. Right? I mean, if you listen to interviews with like Ray Parlour and Ian Wright and all these guys at Bergkamp, they were like, we were taking pills, or we were like eating like boiled chicken, and this, like it was super healthy. It was super like to the point where Martin Keown said, and Lee Dixon, that he extended our careers. Like we were in our late 30s or mid 30s, and he gave us like 2-3 more seasons.
Yeah.
Now we can't we can't even keep up with Norwich.
Yeah.
So I don't know what is going on, or we are not implementing the methods that other teams are using. I mean, sports science is now huge. It is a huge part of the game. everything you eat, everything you every training thing has a purpose to it. Arsenal are way out of date. Way out of date.
Simply looking at the players, you can tell that this is a team that belonged in 2008. This is not a 2019 team.
No.
And I really think that the recruitment over the past few years has been terrible. And I think that that's going to be apart from who we get as a manager, that's going to be one big thing to fix. Like, what kind of players are Arsenal looking to buy now? Are we looking to buy players like Mustafi or David Luiz or Xhaka? Or are we looking to buy players like Mohamed Salah, who, that they have the ability to go up and down the pitch for 90 minutes and not take a second to breathe?
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of player Mohamed Salah is.
Yeah. That guy, him, Mane, are frightening. Frightening. You just watch them
because they
play.
just don't let up.
They don't. And they're so explosive, constantly explosive. You think, these guys, man, what are they eating? Like, what like, they got, they're running on petrol, these guys, where we go like a horse buggy, whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, the Liverpool players, with the way they press, the Man City players, the way they press, it is scary. It really, even Tottenham, when they were playing really well, was really, really scary.
Yeah.
We guys are, reactive, pedestrian. We're looking for that tiki-taka kind of pass. We haven't got those kind of players to control that amount of time on the ball, to be honest with you. We usually end up losing the ball or passing backwards or whatever it is. So I think, if Arsenal are going to do it properly, they need to get the right guy in who's got the right kind of mindset. And for me, this comes on to the next manager debate. Who do you think is the next guy? Really? I mean, if you had a blank check, and all of them were gonna say yes.
Right.
Who would be your number one guy?
So we were talking about this offline, right? And you said that, Arsenal wasn't always this beautiful football playing team.
Yeah.
For the longest time, Arsenal, the song was 1-0 to the Arsenal. Arsenal was a team that will never let you through, and they will get one goal on the break, and that's it. They'll shut the game down, and you're never getting through. And that was Arsenal for 20 years, right? So for people that are older than us, that's the Arsenal they remember, right? For them, it's 1-0 to the Arsenal. But my outlook on Arsenal is a little bit skewed because I started following Arsenal just about a year or two before Wenger came in. So I was like, all right, let's watch this team. This new French guy comes in, and the way he set up Arsenal to play completely sort of colored my perspective on what I want Arsenal to be as a team. So when I look for the next manager, I kind of want them to embody those values, but update it for 2019 or 2020, whatever. So when I look at it through that lens, I see someone like what's the guy's name that is the manager of Borussia Mönchengladbach right now? Marco Rosa? Is that what his name is?
Right.
I think.
I have no idea.
I'm gonna have to look it up. Borussia. Hang on. So I think it's that guy. It's that guy or somebody like that. Who? The current coach of Leipzig. What's his name?
Oh, yes, I know. Yeah.
Right. So somebody like
he's
that.
Like 30 years old, right? He's like 31, 32, right? He's very young.
Yeah, he's very young. He's a young guy. So this guy. So let me see if I can share the screen so people can see that. This guy. I'd have somebody like this guy, like Marco Rosa, who's like he used to be at Salzburg last year. He got Salzburg playing like really good attacking football. And now he's the manager of Borussia Mönchengladbach. And Mönchengladbach are top of the league right now in the Bundesliga.
Oh, wow.
And he's got them playing like really fast, pressing, attacking, beautiful football. And this is a guy that, if you look at it from an Arsenal perspective, whereas, we're not Manchester United. We're not City, Liverpool right now. We're slightly maybe under them right now. So we can maybe not get the A++ tier coaches, but we can probably get a coach who will fit the Arsenal philosophy and whose stock is not so high that a team like Madrid or City are looking at him right now. So maybe somebody like Marco Rosa who we can maybe just snatch from Borussia Mönchengladbach or something like that. I would even somebody like Arteta interests me. I'm thinking we're in a place where it's probably a wrong thing to say because we can probably go down, but I feel like we're in a place where the only place we can go is up, which is probably not entirely correct.
No, I would agree with you. I mean, I don't think we're going to get relegated or anything like that. I think at worst we're going to finish 8th or 7th or something along those lines. I think we always find a way to put it, pull it around at the end of the season.
Yeah, so I would go for like that would be my pick. That guy, the Borussia Mönchengladbach manager, would be my pick. Somebody like that, somebody like Nagelsmann, or if Freddie can show us in the next 5 or 6 games that there's something about him, then I have all the time in the world for an Invincible, all the time in the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So would you go for someone like Allegri, Pochettino, Nuno? What about these guys? Or even Ancelotti?
Okay, let's go with Pochettino because a lot of people have been talking about Pochettino, and I've been seeing a lot of chatter on Twitter about people really wanting Pochettino to join Arsenal. I can see why. He's a great manager. He literally worked miracles with that shit Tottenham team.
Yeah.
So 100%, I can get behind the idea of that. I can understand the idea.
Yeah. If you could turn that shit around, turn the shit around.
Yeah, exactly. So I get that, but I just feel like there's too much baggage there, because I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be able to work that same magic at Arsenal. And secondly, I don't know if he'd be able to, if he'd want to come to Arsenal. He'd be like, dude, look at what I did with Tottenham. I'm the hottest manager, one of the hottest managers in the world right now. Real Madrid's going to come for me. United's going to come for me. Arsenal are going to tell me, all right, you have 35 million pounds to spend. Madrid's going to come to me and they'll be like, you have 300 million pounds to spend. United's going to come to me. They'll be like, you have 300 million pounds to spend. So I have my pick of clubs. Why would I want to go to that shit show? So that's what I feel like with Pochettino. With Allegri, I don't know. I kind of have my doubts about somebody who's been super successful in the Italian league, about how much of a job they can do in a league that's miles ahead in intensity.
Okay, so you had like Conte, you had Mancini.
Yeah. I mean, you have a good point. For sure, you have a good point. Like those guys did well in the Premier League, and maybe Allegri could do well in the Premier League, but I suppose just from a philosophy standpoint, he doesn't appeal to me. If he gets appointed, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it at all. I'll be like, all right, good, let's get cracking. But he would not be on the top of my list. For what I grew up watching, he's very anti-Arsenal.
Ancelotti?
No, as well, just because I feel like he's more of a caretaker kind of a manager at this point of time. Yeah. I feel like in like the late 2000s and early 2010s, that's what his prime was. And now he's kind of like Wenger in 2014.
So this is never going to happen, but would you have Simeone?
Oh yeah. I'd have Simeone just because for the character that he is.
But he's someone who's super defensive.
Yeah, I know.
You would be willing to sort of sacrifice the Arsenal way for Simeone?
Yeah, because Simeone starts. He really strikes me as a guy that's very charismatic and a guy that really has this hold over his players, where his players are completely committed to his ideology and they're willing to run through walls for him. That's the kind of manager that I want next for the club. That's what Klopp did essentially with Liverpool. Yeah. That's what Guardiola got them to do with Man City. And I feel like if Arsenal gets the next manager, it has to be a manager who has that personality where he can get the players to run through walls, that he can get the players to outperform what they thought they were capable of. And Simeone, I think, can do that.
Do you think the Borussia Mönchengladbach guy can do that?
I think so. Arsenal? I think so. He has that personality as well, where his players are completely... Borussia Mönchengladbach team, that's not a great team. That is not a world-beating team. But that's a team that is beating everyone in its path right now, and that's top of the Bundesliga. So he's got them playing out of their skin. because and obviously they're doing that because they're completely committed to the plan that the manager has. And that's the kind of coach that I want, that can get 100% commitment from the players.
So realistically, who do you think they'll appoint? Oh, we haven't spoken about Brendan Rodgers. Sorry,
Yeah.
Brendan Rodgers.
Oh yeah.
Would you?
Well,
Okay.
you had him on like kind of close to the top of your list, didn't you?
I think realistically they will appoint him next season. I think he would be interested, because I mean right now there's no point because Leicester are doing really well and Arsenal are not. He just joined, so there's no point.
What if
Arsenal?
What if Leicester finishes 3rd in the league? Arsenal finishes 6th in the league. Let's just say. Do you think that happens? Which looks likely at this moment in time. Do you think Rodgers would be like, yeah, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave the Champions League and go manage a team in the Europa League?
He left Celtic, who were going to win the treble, right? To join Leicester, who were going to win nothing.
That's true.
Right? I know it's Celtic, and I know they win everything every year.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, 3 more trophies to your name is not a bad thing to have at all. He could have left at the end of the season, and they still would have had him. But he's like, no, I'm done. So I think Rodgers is like I think he sees himself on that elite level, where I mean, when he was at Liverpool, when he was assistant manager at Chelsea, I think he sees himself at that elite level. I think he's got listen, on paper, I think Arsenal are a better team than Leicester. Yes, they're playing crap right now, but player for player, I'd rather have the Arsenal team than the Leicester team. And this Leicester team, I mean, I know we keep they're not going to win the league, but they're not going to win the league again. Okay. Well, actually, to be honest with you, they've got a better team now than they won they had when they actually won the league.
They do,
so
and they're second.
So maybe I should stop saying,
maybe you should just stop making definitive statements.
Yeah, exactly. Arsenal are not going to get relegated. Leicester are not going to win the league. Yeah. But seriously, I think for the long run, this is a team and like an Arsenal team is begging and crying out for a manager who can create a new legacy. So I don't want Arsenal to be that team where they change managers every other season, right? And I don't think that Arsenal want to be that team that changes manager every other season. Brendan Rodgers is someone who you could invest money in. He's proven himself at Liverpool. They were very close to winning the league there. He did it at Celtic. He's doing it at Leicester. To be honest with you, he can speak the language. The language is very important because I don't think Emery can get his point across. Even with someone like an Allegri or even with the other sort of Spanish Italian managers, even if they've got charisma, it's not guaranteed that charisma will translate if you speak in a different language. So I think Brendan can manage top players. I think he can get the results. Bearing in mind, that Liverpool team that finished second, it was Sterling, Sturridge, and Suarez up front, and maybe Coutinho midfield. But everyone else on that team was bang average. Like I can't remember anyone else from that team. They were a bang average team minus those 4 players. So he did a very good job. I would not mind Brendan Rodgers. I thought I would never say that, but it's only because the way he's performing at Leicester. I never thought Brendan Rodgers, that guy. Oh, we showed a great character.
Yeah.
How was the match?
Oh, that
great
dude.
Character.
Yeah.
So I was like, he was kind of like a laughing stock when he was at Liverpool. But since Celtic and Leicester, he's a completely different animal and he's matured and learned. So I would not mind Rodgers. And he plays a very attacking kind of football.
Yeah. He does.
So it would be very appealing, very Arsenal-like, but he also gets the results. So Brendan Rodgers is
I think you might have a point.
Very realistic option.
You might have a point because like somebody went and, at the Leicester... After the Leicester game, somebody had a chat with some of the journalists, I think, asked him about the Arsenal news. And he was like, oh, well, he didn't say no. He didn't like rule it out at all. No. He was just like, oh, every manager has a clause in his contract. No, whoa. All right.
Where did that come from?
Yeah. And like, if you're the Leicester owner, you're just thinking like, wow, thanks, dude. I gave you a job.
What the hell is that?
You're 3 months into this job. Thanks, man. Yeah, so he didn't rule it out at all.
No. Normally managers will say, oh, I'm not going to talk about this kind of stuff. I'm not going to, it's stupid. I'm very happy where I am. He was like, listen, I'm up for sale. If you got the dough, we can make it happen. He basically said, listen, this was like a Suarez situation where now the Arsenal board are going to put £1 more than the release cost. It's the same thing. He's like, no. So listen, I realistically think that they're going to have Freddie to the end of the season, Brendan Rodgers next season, and that could be a very, very exciting prospect honestly, because his football is very attacking, right?
Yeah.
Let's not forget that Liverpool team, what he's done with Celtic, what he's doing with Leicester right now. He's made Vardy like back into that animal that he was when he was playing in that title winning season, right? Because since then he's been playing all right, but he hasn't been hitting the same notes or that same rhythm. Now they look frightening.
Yeah, they really do.
So I'm thinking they look frightening right now. Second in the league, and by the way, this is the league with Man City, with the Tottenham. This is not like a fluke.
Yeah.
So Brendan Rodgers next season Arsenal, that could be very, very interesting. I wouldn't mind Allegri simply because he's a winner.
Yeah,
and he's won stuff at Italy. I do think we need winners in the team, but we haven't got a Champions. Do we have a Champions League winner or a league winner? Maybe like a Socrates or whatever, Borussia Dortmund. But we need winners.
Yeah,
we haven't got any winners in the team, man. Come on,
that's true.
So for me, it's Allegri and Rodgers.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Actually, that's a good shout. I'm inclined to agree with it in the sense that looks to be the most likely scenario in my head, because I feel like coaches like the Mönchengladbach coach, he's going to get targeted by Bayern. Bayern's going to be like, all right, we'll grab him. Or some other big team's going to be like, we'll grab him.
Dortmund or whoever.
Or Dortmund or the Ajax manager, Ten Hag. Like, I feel like bigger teams are going to come knocking for them. Like a Barca or a Madrid is going to come knocking for them. Their stock is way too high right now. So I think that could be something that could materialize. And in the meantime, you're happy with Freddie to continue for the rest of the season.
This sounds very pessimistic, but this season is lost. Like I mean, if you're talking about they might win a cup here or there, but they're not going to get in top four. And even they're not going to get in top four. I don't want to finish fifth or sixth and get in the Europa League. There's no point. There is literally no point of winning that thing. I would rather we start fresh, have a new management, have a new direction. This team has potential. I know the defense sucks, and we need to recruit properly in that. Midfield isn't great, but even like players like Guendouzi, Torreira, if you have the right manager, and even Xhaka, right, you can make if their FIFA rating was like 80, you can get them to 85, right? And that's not bad to have those kind of players in the team.
Right.
And Aubameyang, Lacazette, I mean, those guys, to be honest with you, are in the high 80s, 90s in terms of FIFA, and they should be bagging 20 goals a season, both of them. And for God's sake, Ozil. We've completely forgotten about this guy who was a Galactico, who was a world beater, who took the World Cup by storm.
Yeah.
World Cup winner, but we still haven't got any winners. We've got a one World Cup winner by accident.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we got two because I think has Mustafi won the. He has won the World Cup.
Probably in the squad, yeah.
Yeah, Mustafi, he should throw away his medal. He's been disqualified post World Cup. They had a VAR.
Take it away. They should have a rule where if you suck your medal,
exactly, take it away. But I mean, Ozil is someone who, for God's sake, he is still probably the most talented guy in that dressing room.
Yeah,
has been underutilized, marginalized. The thing is, I think Emery was trying to get something out of him that he hasn't got. Listen, Ozil is a luxury player. Okay. Yeah. He's the guy that, is the cherry on the cake, as I think it was Tony Adams saying that we haven't got the cake right now, but you don't get rid of him. Because if he was at Man U or at Chelsea or at City, he would be he's got everything around him, all the players around. He would perform. Yeah. Right? He would perform. Don't forget, this guy was assisting Giroud, okay, and helping him score. So he keep the guy and utilize him properly.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I would feel a little bit better about Freddie continuing for the rest of the season if I knew that they have this plan in mind for next season. They have a plan in mind. They have a coach in mind. Because right now they're saying we have 12 candidates, which I'm like, all right. But if they have a coach in mind, let's say in January they say we have a guy in mind. We're gonna get him in the summer. We're gonna support him with transfers. But in the meantime, we're going to let Freddie prove to us that if he's capable of the job or not. And if Freddie shows to us in 10 games or something that there's something there, then I don't mind. I don't mind that either. So
listen, this could be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer kind of
thing
well be. Where listen, you were saying like Freddie Ljungberg is like an invincible. I mean, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is their kind of invincible because he scored the winning goal in the Champions League and whatever. So there is that emotional. Oh my God, he's like this and that. He was with the club and we love you, Freddie. But at the end of the day, I mean, these things can be very short term, like buzz, all this like sort of kind of thing. Like we got rid of the last manager, now we can play our game and express ourselves, all that kind of crap. But then when the next season comes along, that buzz isn't there anymore. And at the end of the day, you need experience and you need wisdom and you need someone who can pull through. So,
well, I would only say two things. First is that when you talk to people that work at Arsenal, that speak about players, that speak about coaches, internally he's actually rated pretty highly because he did a really good job when he was the under-23 coach. So he did a really, really good job with them. He's considered a really promising coaching prospect. Point number one. Second point I would make is that's kind of how Pep Guardiola got the Barcelona job. He was the under-23 manager, and then they said he's done really well with the under-23. There's something special there. Let's try him out. And now he's Pep Guardiola. So I'm not saying Ljungberg is Pep Guardiola, not at all. We have no evidence of that yet.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that how many times have we seen that some player got injured and then this 19-year-old comes in and he would not have gotten the chance if that senior player didn't get injured. Yeah. But then this player got injured, Fabregas came in and becomes a superstar. So, I mean, sometimes all you need is a little bit a little bit of a chance.
I mean, it's possible, but I mean, with Guardiola, I mean, he had the benefit of having like the best team ever.
Yeah, that's true.
At his disposal.
Yeah.
Like probably the best club team ever.
Like
that's not even an exaggeration, to be honest with you. So I think Guardiola is like one in a kind of million kind of manager who is super, super intelligent. And again, Arsenal don't have that team. Even for argument's sake, if Guardiola was at Arsenal, he would not win the league.
Probably not.
We wouldn't win the league because they don't have the team, right? They don't have the team. Yeah. I mean, where are you going to buy Messi, Xavi, Iniesta from? You can't buy those kind of players. So I get your point. And Ljungberg could be like, oh my God, this guy's like a genius. We had him all this time, and he's like an Arsenal guy. And you could be, but if you get it wrong, then that's at least another season and a half gone. And you're thinking, so I wouldn't mind Freddie Ljungberg coming back in like 4 seasons' time after he's got a job somewhere else and proven his stripes and yep, I got it, I can do it. Like, for example, Frank Lampard, he went to Derby or some other team, managed, and now he's at Chelsea and he's doing very well. So that's fine. You will always have that connection to the club. So I don't mind that, but right now I just think we are at a sort of tipping point where
we really are.
We could either, if we get the right manager and like 3-4 more players, we could compete, or we can like slide down even further and compete with Wolves and Burnley.
Oh my God, that's so depressing.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. All right. Well. Yeah, let's hope. What we all can do is just hope that the people in the decision-making positions have a plan. I hope they have a plan. It would boggle my mind if they didn't, because even the owner this week was at Arsenal and he was talking to the official website and he gave a speech to the players and they said that they have a plan. So yeah, let's hope things turn out. And in the meantime, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you speak about a plan. The team that has a plan and that has really impressed me, and it hurts me to say this, is Tottenham, because they got the stadium, like you said. They managed to keep the players so far. The only one that could potentially go is Eriksen. But I mean, okay, fine. And they got a manager now who is top pedigree.
Yeah.
And when Arsenal look, like, honestly, I think Mourinho at Tottenham, it changes the whole dynamic.
I mean, it does. It's an Emperor Palpatine coming together, basically.
Yes,
that's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Mourinho is a winner, right? He's a winner. Even if he manages to piss people off and rub people the wrong way, he is a winner. And Tottenham haven't won, so the basic odds are that they're going to win something, right? And it hurts me to say, that they're going to win something.
Yeah.
But the fact is, you know what? They had a plan and they execute that plan, and Mourinho's there. And honestly, when I heard he's at Tottenham, I was like, why is he at Tottenham? Like, I was so because I know this is going to sound controversial. I wouldn't have minded him coming to Arsenal because I think Mourinho is the Mourinho is the
of everything that is Arsenal.
Yeah, exactly. But what Arsenal have become is so bad. I want the antithesis. And listen, so when let me give you an example. When Robin van Persie went to Man U, Ferguson was saying that every time we used to play Arsenal, the biggest threat was Van Persie, and our tactic was how we're going to neutralize this guy. He goes, the best way to neutralize him is to buy him. Now we don't have to worry about him.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's playing for us. So Mourinho is the kind of guy, if you're against him, you hate his guts. You think, how are we going to get under his skin? How are we going to neutralize him? But if he's working with you or for you, then you don't have to worry about that. And he's like a manager, like Diego Costa is a player.
Yeah.
If you're playing against him, you think this guy's a wretched animal. But if he's with you, you're like, oh, Diego, he's going to fight, he's going to scrap. So I would rather have him for us than against us. But now he's against us, and at Tottenham, I was like, you know what? That's a masterstroke for me by Tottenham. Masterstroke by Tottenham.
Well, let's see how he gets on there. I mean, he's developed a bit of a reputation to leave teams in a mess when he does leave. So I would much rather he continue that glorious tradition at Tottenham. I hope he does.
Me too. But then he would also win. I think he's going to win.
Yeah. I'll give him one Carling Cup in exchange for him completely burning Tottenham down to the ground.
Yeah, exactly. They'll burn down the stadium, bankruptcy.
Bankrupt the club,
Bankruptcy, exactly. Yeah.
So, well, all right, let's see what happens in the next coming few weeks and months. This season is going to be interesting. I didn't really think that people would be happy to write off this season if it means we get a good manager next season. But I can see the sense in that. I suppose, and I'm also and I'm also willing to give Freddie the rest of the season. Like that's kind of the best of both worlds in a bad scenario where you can ensure that you get a good manager at the end of the season and you give a promising coach a little bit of time to prove himself. So I mean,
for me, it's play the long game. There's no point in rushing into decisions but what Man U did, right? Man U are the opposite of Arsenal. Like, we keep the guy for too long. They got rid of the guy. Then they get the new guy a big contract too quickly. Yeah. Had they not done that, and they could have easily got someone like someone new at the beginning of this season, and I think there would have been a very different team. Yeah. But this is what happens when you just rush by or panic contract, wherever it is. You get these sort of substandard solutions, and you think, oh shit, how do we get out of this one? I haven't even got out of the last one. Now I've got to get out of this one. So I'm okay with Freddie.
All right. I'm okay with Freddie too for now. So let's see how he gets on tomorrow. We got a big game against Brighton coming up. So
for us now, that's a big game. Brighton's a big game now. Our competitors. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, if Arsenal can beat Brighton 2-1, oof, what a victory that was.
Oh my god. Now you're being outrageous. You're being unrealistic, man. Come on.
A famous night in London, beating Brighton 2-1 at home.
It'll be in the highlight reel of the season.
Yeah, we'll tell our kids about it. Remember that night in London, kids? Yeah. When we beat Brighton 2-0 at home, 2-1 at home under the lights. It was awesome. Hopefully, we can end our non-winning streak that we've been on for the past 8 games or some bullshit like that. So I hope we can get some sort of a win. And it was fun talking some football for a change, not talking politics or culture and all absolutely. That. It was fun talking some football for a change. So I hope you had fun too. Thank you for doing this today.
Yeah, I would love to do this again some other time, wherever it is. Hopefully, I don't know if you've got any more football fans that you would want to bring on, like in this sort of kind of like YouTube kind of thing going on.
Yeah,
like a Chelsea fan
I'd do that. I'd 100% do that. If you know some people that follow football, maybe Arsenal, maybe some other teams, let's do a football podcast.
I really want to get on a Man U guy so I can rip into him. I really. Man
the only
fans,
danger with ripping into Man United fans is that United has money, so they can spend their way out of the hole they're in. Arsenal can't spend their way out of the hole they're in, so we really don't get to talk shit to anyone.
It's true. But if I had to, I mean, Tottenham is too easy because they're like rivals. So it's. But Man U, I'm sorry. I am sorry. Man U, Solskjaer. Oh, Ole's at the wheel. You're gonna run off the cliff. Yeah, you're gonna drive off the cliff. Fine by me. Oh, Pogba. Oh, Angel Pogba. You guys, honestly, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Ashamed of yourself. You spent hundreds of millions of pounds.
You gave Martial
1 point better than Arsenal.
Sorry, Rashford, the number 10 jersey. Come on.
Bro, when Martial went to Man U, I was like, shit.
Oh no, they got the new Henry.
Team. Like, whatever. I honestly, yeah, exactly. But I think if he was at a team like Arsenal, he would perform way better.
Oh, 100%.
100% better at Arsenal. Yeah.
100%. And that was a time when Wenger was still at Arsenal, so he would know how to use a player like that too.
Bro, the season before that, he was at Monaco and he destroyed Arsenal in the Champions League.
Yep.
I was like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
Who the hell is this guy? Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have a buddy who's a United fan, and I could totally get him, and we could do like a kind of a Premier League podcast or something like that.
Yeah, I'm on it.
All right. So if you know people that are either Arsenal supporters or non-Arsenal supporters, talk to them, and let's figure something out. And so I've had plenty of comments. People like this discussion, so we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Preferably non-Arsenal, so I just want to have a bit of banter, right?
Yeah.
I'm sick and I want to have a fight with someone. I'm sorry. I just want to rip into someone.
Let's just find teams that suck. So like United and freaking Tottenham don't suck anymore. But I guess United.
Now I'm holding back on the insults to Tottenham right now. I'm in no position to insult Tottenham. Yeah, you guys are doing good, man. Good. Yeah. Friends. Yeah, cool.
All right, guys.
Any United fan?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. We'll Veedu and I will figure out maybe some other people who can discuss some we can discuss some footy with, and maybe we'll do this on a this kind of a chat on a more regular basis. I mean, I enjoy it. I'm sure some of you definitely enjoyed it in the chat here. So we'll give it a try. And until we figure that out, we'll see you then. And until then, obviously, you can go follow Veedu Vidz on his YouTube channel, Veedu Vidz. Go check that channel out. It's really good. It's really funny. I always like watching it, and I hope to see more videos from him soon. And until then, guys, stay happy, stay healthy, subscribe, comment, like, share, abuse, all of that fun stuff. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.